Another question that I wanted to ask you about, there are some law firms that are supporting Mary Brown.
Okay.
There are, on her website, or on her, one of the things that I saw they had, on her filings, I should say, they had a number of law firms that were giving her $5,000. And I saw that, I forget his name, Jeff Dalton, I think, they talked about platinum sponsors. And Kuntz Fuller was one of the platinum sponsors. Now, the only thing is that I could not trace the money back to them, but evidently they're okay with being a platinum sponsor.
Okay.
And what I want to know from your perspective is this. I know you people, you need to raise money, but I think that if you are raising money from law firms, it should be disclosed to the litigants. Jessica Janicek of Kuntz Fuller, this firm gave me $5,000. They are a platinum sponsor to my campaign. And either I should recuse myself, or I should at least let this be known so that the other side has the opportunity to get me recused. What are your thoughts regarding that?
It's unfortunate that sometimes the regular litigant, especially one that comes in there without a lawyer, first of all of this information about campaign contributions must be reported. It is public information. I know I, as an attorney, have always been concerned because I, as a solo practitioner helping the little guy, have never had the ability to give a $5,000 donation. So I've always wondered if I was going to get a fair shake, or my clients were going to get a fair shake if I went against one of these firms. But the reality is, the belief is that these limitations that they put on the campaign contributions are supposed to kind of ensure that there is no partiality or bias. So I mean, at the end of the day, we have to raise funds. We have to get the word out, especially in a race like this. I have to say that probably 10% of the voting population even know about this write-in candidacy. And so raising funds is the only way we can get the word out. But I do agree with you. I think it should be public. I think that, and it's up to the attorneys to do the research. When you have your case, part of preparing your case is looking at opposing counsel and seeing what kind of contributions are out there and asking for that voluntary recusal by the judge or doing a forced recusal by motion.
Okay, you mentioned that, and that's good to hear. I'm glad you said that. I mean, some people have made the comment like maybe our politicians should wear name tags of their top contributors just so that we know who owns them. But anyway.
But most of these firms that you call out are multi-million-dollar firms. $5,000 is a drop in the bucket. Yeah. I was going to say, and that is the reason for those limits. But again, I feel like do your research, and the law says that it's the appearance of impropriety.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to prove impropriety, it's the appearance of impropriety. So if you find yourself in a case and you believe like the judge has been influenced, then you would call for recusal, or the judge themselves should rise up and do what's called a voluntary recusal.
And I'm glad you said that, because I work for the federal government, the executive branch, and I will tell you one thing: if anybody were to lodge an ethics complaint against me, it would be looked at immediately. And there was one occasion that I was going to be going on an examination, and I went to my supervisor and said, here's the situation. The people that I knew are no longer there. The bank's been purchased and everything else. But I did speak against one of the individuals who owned his son, who owns the bank. Mm-hmm. Should I recuse myself?
Yeah, and I appreciate the process of the Texas Ethics Commission. I mean, what I can tell you is if I had done half of what Mary Brown has done in this election, my name would have been plastered all over the news. My name would have been on every paper, right? But there's been this gentle reporting, this passive reporting as it relates to this race. Mary Brown has acted unethically. The Texas Ethics Commission and Election Code states that a write-in candidate is not to collect funds until they have declared themselves as a write-in candidate. I see from the Dallas Morning News that Mary Brown's excuse is that she's a sitting judge, but the point is you're raising funds for this write-in candidacy. How can anybody respect your rulings when you are violating orders? I'm watching this woman use her friends, use clergy, use judges, use judiciary to get her agenda across, none of which is appropriate.
Right, and I want to just follow up on that, because yesterday I called up the Texas Ethics Commission. I talked with 3 different individuals. There was the person who answered the phone, the caseworker on this specific filing, and also the caseworker's supervisor. And here's what I found out, and I was very upset about this. So, because I think the complaint that I filed is airtight. And I said, she's done this. You've got the filings in front of you. But they said, well, we can't make a decision until December, I think it's the 13th and the 14th when the commission meets again. They only meet once a quarter. They will not even look at this until the quarterly meeting. So what they have done, they are allowing Mary Brown to cheat in this race. Now, it's as if you were running a 400-meter race against her, and she had a 200-meter head start.
That's
because
right.
she's raising money, and you and Mr. Jackson have been following the elections code. You did not raise the money, but here she has money, and now she's been able to use that, and they're like, well, we really can't do anything, so it's a cheat. You know?
I have no respect for Mary Brown anymore. Like I said, I held her in high esteem. I call it as I see it. If the law is with me, then it's with me. If it's not, it's not. I follow the rules. This woman does not follow the rules, and it's the manipulation that has just taken it to a place of no return for me. I do want to say one thing, though, that people have taken this whole race to another level with the death threats and all that. I read some things on Facebook yesterday that were very disturbing. I do not at all condone that. I think that the way to handle that is to use your voice and come to the polls and bring down Mary Brown by writing Michelle McKinney for the judge of the 301st Court. I do not condone the death threats or anything like that. Her behavior is atrocious, but there's a way to handle that, and I'm asking you to use our process of voting to handle that and not threaten any kind of physical harm.
And I appreciate you saying that. Now, I've not seen any of these death threats, but I also know, too, that there have been some Republicans that have had death threats lodged against them, and I believe the same thing.
Okay.
And I've seen people that have been trying to run for candidacy, and well, I was at a place when Mr. Younger was running for his position in Flower Mound, I think it was, and I was at an event where somebody was calling a guy called Assassin.
Okay.
And said, do not pull here. But I mean, nothing takes place. But I agree with you that we live in a place where we should be able to peacefully be able to change and get rid of these crooked judges like Mary Brown.
Yeah, you have to follow the rules. You can't have a judge out here not following the rules.
Right.